This is the story of Moses. After many years, a new Pharaoh ruled. He did not remember what Joseph had done for Egypt. The people of God became slaves. They were trapped, and they could not go home. There were so many of the people of God that the Pharaoh was afraid that they would take away his kingdom from him. So he said that all of the baby boys had to be killed. One of the mothers made a basket of bulrushes that were woven together, and she took her baby and she placed him in the basket, and then she hid them in the bulrushes beside the river Nile. The daughter of the Pharaoh found the basket. She named the baby Moses and raised him in the palace. When Moses was a young man, he saw an Egyptian beating one of the people of God. Moses grew angry and killed him. And then he ran away into the desert. Moses stayed with the family of Jethro, and he married Zipporah, one of Jethro's daughters, and became a shepherd. He lived there for 40 years. One day, while Moses was taking care of Jethro's sheep, he took them to the mountain of God, Mount Horeb, which is also called Sinai. And suddenly he saw a burning bush that did not burn up. God spoke to Moses from the burning bush. God told Moses that the cries of the people of God in Egypt had been heard. Moses was to go and set the people free. Moses said, "But who am I to do such a thing?" And God said, "I will be with you." "But what is your name?" "My name is Yahweh. I am who I am." "Well, can't you send someone else?" "Aaron, your brother, will go with you. He will speak for you." And so Moses went back to Egypt to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go. Moses went many times to the Pharaoh to tell him to let God's people go. And many times the Pharaoh said no. Terrible things happened in the land of Egypt. Finally, the Pharaoh said yes. God helped Moses lead people through water into freedom. Moses led people through the desert for 40 years. The people grew tired and discouraged, and they grumbled to Moses. But God showed the people that God was with them by giving them quail and manna to eat in the desert. When the people were thirsty from traveling in the desert, they complained to Moses, and Moses talked with God. God told Moses to strike a rock with his staff. Water came out of the rock so people could drink. Something happened that made God angry. Moses did not keep faith with God in the midst of the people. So God told Moses that he would see but never enter the promised land. The people were free, but they didn't know the best way to go. With God's help, Moses led the people to God's mountain, Mount Sinai, where God had spoken to him from the burning bush. Moses went up on the mountain to talk with God, and the people waited and waited and waited. Moses was gone a long time. The people began to think that Moses was never coming back, so they asked Aaron to make a new god to lead them. Aaron took all the gold that the women were wearing and melted it, and then he shaped the melted gold into a calf. He gave the calf to the people of God, saying, "Here is your God." And the people built an altar and worshiped the golden calf. Moses came down from the mountain. His face was shining. He carried the 10 best ways, but he found the people worshiping the golden calf. He grew angry, and he broke the stone tablets on which the 10 best ways were written. And then he took the golden calf and he threw it into the fire. The people were sorry, so God gave Moses the 10 best ways again, and Moses gave them to the people. God told Moses to have the people make a box called an ark to hold the 10 best ways. The box was covered with gold, and it had poles on the sides so that the people could always carry it with them wherever they went. God told Moses how to make a tent called a tabernacle for the ark. When the people stopped to rest in the wilderness, God's glory filled the tent, and Moses came close to God there. When he came out, his face was shining. After 40 years, they came to another mountain, Mount Nebo. Moses looked over into the promised land from the mountaintop, and God said, "I will give this land to the people of God, but you will not cross over." Moses died there, and no one knows to this day where he is buried. Now, I wonder, what part of the story do you like best? I wonder, what part is most important? I wonder what part is about you, or what part was especially for you. And I wonder if we could leave out any of this story and still have all that we need. Thank you for listening to this story of Moses. Come back with us next week for another story from the Bible. Goodbye.